So how is it that thoughts are responsible for the feelings of anxiety and worry that we often experience in day-to-day life? Let's begin by acknowledging the fact that for humans, it's almost as though there are two separate worlds existing at the same time. There's the real world, which exists in the present moment and is experienced through our senses. It's the sound and the feel of the table. It's the feeling of the sofa underneath me. And then there's the imagined world, which exists in the mind. And it might be thoughts of what might have happened in the past and thoughts of what might happen in the future. Now, these two worlds often blur together, making it difficult to know the difference between what's real and what's not. And the body can't tell the difference between a true threat in the present moment and an imagined threat that's only happening in the mind. Either way, the body will respond with the same fight or flight reaction as though it's happening for real. So let's see how this works with an everyday example. Let's imagine that we have our first driving lesson tomorrow and we've been feeling anxious about it all week. Now that's because we've had a series of mental images and movies playing out in the mind. When you imagine scenes of being in a car accident and maybe becoming seriously injured, and of course, the body is listening and responding to every image that it sees, and you feel fear, you feel anxious, you feel like you're in immediate danger. So right now, I'm going to go about an everyday activity whilst I'm busy worrying about the lesson tomorrow, and we can see what's happening. Now, these everyday activities might be anything from brushing your teeth, to having a shower, to walking your dog or making your dinner. In this case, it's making some tea. So my body is here in the real world, yet it's almost as though I'm working on autopilot because all of my attention has been sucked up into the imagined world and become lost in this worst case scenario thinking. And it's like I'm disconnected from the real world because none of my senses are being engaged with. Now, as you can see, when your attention is here in the imagined world, it's noisy, it's scary, it's full of drama. It makes you feel anxious. Now let's see what happens when we drop the thought and reconnect with the real world. And it's peaceful. It's calm. It's quiet. It's safe. All that exists is the sound of the spoon hitting the side of the cup. No drama, no stress. And then again, we reintroduce those thoughts. More stress, more drama, more noise, more anxiety. And then finally we reconnect with the real world and it's peaceful. And that peace was there all along, but we just didn't notice it because all of our attention was lost in this imagined world and the worst case scenario thinking. Now again, these thoughts can be incredibly useful as long as you know how to engage with them properly. Now the best way to engage with these kinds of thoughts is to look, listen, and let go. So you first look at the thought, you need to acknowledge that the thought is there. Then we listen to what the thought might be saying and ask ourselves, is there any action that I can take right now? And if there is action that you can take, then you take it and let the thought go. It's not needed anymore. But if there's no action you can take right now, then the thought still isn't needed because there's nothing you can do. So it's best to let the thought go until it comes up at another time when you might be able to do something about it. Thoughts are incredibly useful, but being lost in thoughts can be really damaging. So as you're going about your day-to-day, notice where your attention is. Is your attention lost in the imagined world and recreating all of these terrible things that might have happened in the past? Is it thinking about terrible things that might happen in the future? And if you find that your attention is there, practice bringing your attention back into the real world and the present moment and notice how the body feels when you switch between these two worlds. So I hope that was useful in some way. If it was, subscribe below so that you can be notified when more videos are uploaded. I hope you have a good day and I'll see you again soon.